Probably one of the most common calls, emails, really requests that I get are 200 series Land Cruisers in that mid to low 20s price range. That seems to be a sweet spot for a lot of buyers, especially buyers that are just coming into the Land Cruiser market. That can be a challenging market to find a nice car in that price range. For me as well. I would say, 8 out of 10 200 series that would kind of fall in that criteria are not worth my time, whether it be history, condition, whatever the case may be. And I would caution you, if you are buying in that price range, or you're kind of focused more on price than you are the specific car, mileage, etc., make sure you're either getting a very detailed video like I'm going to do here, or make sure you're going and seeing these cars in person. They're not going to be perfect cars. They're going to have needs, and the cars on the retail market, generally speaking, are not going to be reconditioned and look like what I'm going to offer in that price range. But today is a different story. I do have a really nice, clean 2011 .1 LX570. You might have seen it in my previous video with a .3 LX that I did, where it was kind of in the background, and we've been working on it. So I'm excited for that, because again, I do get a lot of calls, I do get a lot of emails about this specific price range. So it's always nice when I can locate something like this for someone. So before we get going, my name's Chris. For those of you who don't know me, I'm going to be your host for this new inventory showcase video, as always. And please, guys, if you like my videos, if you like the content, please make sure you're liking and subscribing to my channel. That will keep you up to date on our newest inventory, a lot of cars that might not be advertised yet, and some of the projects we're working on, and typically that falls in the 100 series category, which we do have a couple that we're getting ready now. But back to this car. Again, 2011 .1 200 series LX570. This specific car has 162, 800-ish thousand miles on it. It's a 200 car. It's been in Florida since new. Florida can be hit or miss as far as rust goes. I'm sure a lot of you know that. But this car's been in the central part of the state, so in the Orlando area, which is nice. Typically you don't have any rust issues to worry about, because again, Florida can get really sketchy, really touchy, depending on where it's been, especially if it's been on the coast. We don't have any rust to worry about on this car, and we'll get to that here in a minute. But this car does have really good service history, and I really like this, the price point of this car. This is a great car for an entry-level buyer, or somebody that's just looking for a cheap 200. And so that part I really like about this specific car. We just had the car at my local Toyota dealership. They did their general maintenance inspection on it. We did have to balance and rotate the tires. They were bothering me a little bit, but it does have a nice set of Michelins on it. The oil was changed about 1,000 miles ago, so we did not do anything there. All the fluids look great on the car. The car drives great. So really that's all we did to the car. And again, price point wise, you can't beat a 200 series in this mid-20s range. So I'm excited to show this thing off. Let me show you what comes with the car, and then we'll go out in the warehouse and kind of do our normal thing. One thing to add, there have been no accidents reported to Carfax, and everything looks really nice on the car. So we don't have any of that to worry about or discuss in this video. So let's spin this, and I'll show you what I got. Well, first of all, we have our these books on these .1s. They kind of come apart, as you see, with age and time. But do have a full set of books, as you see here. These things are starting to get expensive. If you don't have one of these with your car, especially the early ones, they're starting to run anywhere from $100 to $200 online, which is crazy. But nonetheless, we don't have any of that to worry about here. Do have a full set of books. And I do have 2 keys that come with the car, so that's nice as well. So let's head outside and see what we got. All right, guys, so here we are with the car. As you see, this car is silver, and it does have the parchment or ivory interior, however you prefer to call it. I forget what they called it in 2011, but it seemed to change a good bit. So without further ado, let me start with the headlights here, or excuse me, just the lights in general. We're going to go ahead and start it up, hook up our trusty old scanner to check our monitors, and then we'll get it outside and do our deal. So as you see, the tire pressure light, well, first of all, we are on a cold start here. And we do see our tire pressure light flashing. So there is gonna be, that's gonna be the way the car is sold. Likely there is a dead sensor somewhere. That's not something typically I address. I am under the thought of either you replace all 5 sensors at one time, or you don't do any at all and you just monitor your tire pressure. That's what we do. So, and matter of fact, my car is doing the same thing this is. So once it runs through its process, the light will just stay solid. But anytime you start a Toyota and you see it blinking like that, you know you've got a dead sensor somewhere. Miles are 162,830. And let me go ahead and plug up the scanner. And then we'll take a look at the lights while the scanner's loading. Oh. And there we have it. So all of our lights look good up here as far as our running lights, fog lights, headlights. Lights on the step bar look good. Let's check our tail lights. Right side looks good. 2 tag lights that are LED and work, and 2 tail lights on this driver's side that look good. Let me pop these bright lights on for you. Bright light, and obviously the fog lights automatically will go off anytime the bright lights are turned on. High beam, whatever you call it, bright lights. That was not sounding cool. So here is, as we see, we're hooked up to the car, and here's our result. We have no code stored, nothing going on underlying, and we do have all 9 of our monitors green and ready to be tested. So nothing to worry about here. There's nothing underlying, and this car will pass emissions in all 50 states. That is always a good thing. Whoa. Well, Chris. All right, so we're going to raise the car up, the active height control, and we are just going to tap this up, or as you can see, I'm sorry, we are in the neutral position, as you see right there, and we're just going to push that up, and the car is going to work itself into the high position. As you see, obviously the high will become solid once it is in the high position. We'll take a look at that. There you go. So we'll take a look at the car in the high position, sitting up like a mountain, like I like to say. And while it's in this position, I'd like to go ahead and look at the undercarriage, so we don't have to do that outside. And we will start right here on our steering rack. Our CV axles, everything's nice and dry. CV axles are not torn, slinging grease everywhere. There's our skid plate. Everything looks really nice under here. And what you're seeing there is just previous, oil that might have fallen out from oil changes, or who knows. I can't really speculate because I don't know, but obviously it's not wet and there are no leaks on this car.
And here's our driver's side. There we go. Steering rack boot, not torn, looks really nice. CV axle, same way. Let's see if I can bend this down a little more. Looks good. That's how you want it to look. And here's our passenger side. I like to show this side off because we can kind of look at all of our active height control lines and the side of the frame, and you know, that fuel tank armor right there, that is one thing that will always rust first. And look how nice everything looks under here. Let me hit it from this side because I don't want to breathe in. I don't want to huff exhaust this morning. So we do have a brand new spare. The spare's never been on the ground, which is crazy. And our chain that lowers and the thing that holds the spare tire is perfect, not rusty. Those are common areas that get rusty, and they can be very difficult to get the tire down when they are. Great shot of the rear. Rear differential is perfect, almost looks new the way the finish looks. Thing looks really good under here. There's your globe or your accumulator, whatever you call it. There's number 2. Everything looks great. So no rust to worry about. Let's get back down to the low setting here. As you see, we're still in high, so we're going to bump it down to low. And it will fall into low pretty quickly. And again, it will light solid once it's in that low setting. There we go. It's always fun when it's in high to put it in low and then get out of the car, because it's like, whoa. And there we are. So we are in the low setting. Looking good. So I will bump it back to neutral, and once it hits neutral, I'll pull it out and we will start the exterior part of the video. So let's bump it back up to neutral, and then I will see you guys here in just a second. All right, guys, so here we are, lights off, car in neutral setting. Let's start under the hood. And you're not going to see much because there's a lot of armor. But everything sounds normal. We don't have any odd noises. Everything looks good under here, as it should. Hood pads intact, not torn, factory stickers. You can come over here and look at our hood bolts. Get on this side. Everything looks perfect there. You know, in 2009 or 2010, I forget which year, because they kind of changed on multiple cars at different times. They stopped doing the VIN stickers, and I wish they would not have done that, but sorry, we can't do anything about it. All right, so here we are on the front bumper. I did have the bumper painted. Just had, you know, normal road rash, rock chips, things like that going on with it. Obviously, a 13-year-old car going on 14-year-old car, 160,000 miles is not going to look like it does now. And that goes back to what I said about the other cars on the market. You might see something really cheap in the low 20s, you know, something like that, maybe even less mileage, but that's a car you're going to need to go put your eyes on, because it's not going to be a perfect car, and maybe you don't want a perfect car. But Nonetheless, this bumper has been painted and it looks fantastic, so there's not anything to worry about there. Coming back across here on the driver's side headlight, everything looks really nice here. Don't have any kind of super crazy fading or peeling or anything like that going on. If you want to nitpick, you might say there's some stress cracks, which is common. You'll see that on these, but it's not bad. It's very minor. And again, standing back at here, you're not going to even see it. And I'm 1.5 feet away from the car, so everything looks great there. Our grill is in great condition. One little chip going on right here on the finish, but other than that, we don't have any fading or cracking or anything like that going on. Our front-facing camera is not cracked and works great. We'll check that out here shortly. Passenger side headlight, much like the driver's side. Not any crazy fading, peeling, nothing like that going on. The peeling is what you don't want. You know, the minor heat cracks that you're going to see right there, again, that's going to be normal. You're going to see that on all of these, including the .2s, so the 13 to 15s. So hitting our hood here, do have our normal little rock chips that have been touched up. There are a few some spots here I'm trying to wipe off. Most of that will just wiped off. As you can see, as we move across the front of the hood, I'm just going to kind of walk slowly here because there are a few. These are all very minor and to be expected year in mileage. And again, really a you know, a nitpicky type thing that I'm doing. Most people probably would not show you these, especially standing back, you know, at this distance. It's not something you're gonna overly notice, but they are there, as they are on most cars. This being the worst one, or the biggest one I should say. You can see it's about the size of my pinky nail. But other than that, the rest of the hood looks great. There's not any paint work on this car, which is really nice. And not anything to worry about on this hood. Light color cars are hard to show off, but we've got great lighting today. It's not super sunny, so we don't have any glares or anything like that to worry about, which is nice, but nonetheless, the light color cars are still hard to show off. And we will start the process coming down this left side right now. We'll hit this wheel first. This front wheel has been painted at some point. It looks great. So there's not any damage or any curb marks or anything like that going on. Really nice condition. As you see, it does have a great set of Michelin latitudes on the vehicle. And we got plenty of tread left. I mean, that's at least 40,000 miles, maybe even more. All right. There's not much going on touch-up wise on the side of the car. Our step bar is in great condition. All of our rocker lower part here below these moldings that get beat up, everything looks really nice there. Do have a few spots on the driver's door up here, very small, very minor. And you do have one on this rear door. Do have a bunch of dust, as you can see. In this rear door, you have two spots right here. This is a hard color to touch up. You have one here. And then along this dog leg right here, you have some minor scratches that have been touched up right there. And then running up here, obviously somebody kind of, I don't know if you want to say bumped into something, but you can clearly see that you know, there's a few spots here on this dog leg. I wouldn't say they're anything major. The worst being this spot right here on this door edge. And again, about the size of my pinky nail, but there is a slight dent there, or an indentation, and because it's so close to this edge of the door, that's not something you can take out. You would have to paint the door and the quarter panel to fix that tiny little spot, which is not necessary in my opinion. Same thing right here. You do have a little spot here where the paint was cracked. Both have been touched up, but there is a small little indentation there because there's not a way to get this dent out. This is hollow behind this quarter panel right here, so you can't get a tool in there to poke that dent out. It's very minor. Hopefully that is a good shot of it. And it's probably, you know, the size of my thumbnail. That's a good shot of it right there. And then there it is at distance. So very minor and not a big deal. Do have a spot right here. And other than that, the side of the car looks great. Our rail, got a fly up here, that's nothing. Our rail, all of our roof rack caps look really nice. There's no dents on this car. I've already had all the dents other than what I just showed you worked out of the car. Cameron did his thing on it. This mirror right here does have a spot right up here that's been touched up. Again, maybe thumbnail a little bit smaller than that. So yeah, that's the driver's side of the car. That's what that looks like. Not anything crazy going on, but just kind of normal wear and tear for a 13-year-old vehicle. This rear wheel has not been painted, and it looks to be in great shape, as you can see. We do have one little spot right here. It's not really a curb mark. I would say it's more just they brushed up against something. But other than that, that's all we're gonna see on the wheel. And then obviously the same latitudes back here, matching the front. Coming to this rear bumper. Rear bumper's in great shape. Not really anything to talk about. There's not any touch up or any gouges or anything like that going on. Our rear liftgate, lower part, you know I'm crazy about the bottom down here. They get dented up and damaged all the time. This looks really nice. Same thing with our upper. Not really anything to note, which is always nice. Our rear spoiler, other than having some pollen on it, looks great. And we will open up back here and kind of get going. So here's our carpet. You can see that it does have just some minor spots on it, not anything crazy. And this is what you're going to see kind of in this mid-20s price range. Again, not anything to balk at. Do have our storage under here, and as always, we do have our toolkit. Pictures of the toolkit open or will be on the website. I'm not going to do that right now for time. Look how nice everything looks in here. Again, going back to the Florida thing and rust, these are areas that rust commonly. And everything looks fantastic under here. All of our seam seal, you know, I always point that out. Seam seal is what joins these two panels together. All of it looks perfect. 100% factory as it should. Look how flat the line is. That's not, you can't replicate that. Side of our bumper, moving up this rear quarter panel on the driver's side looks fantastic. Same thing with our upper gate bolts. And then coming down on the passenger side of the quarter, everything looks nice. Again, we don't have any accidents or anything going on with this car, so nothing to worry about there. Our plastic trim light here looks to be in great shape. Not super gouged up, scratched up, which a lot of them get like that, which is nice. So back of our passenger seat, or back of our third row seats look great. I don't know why I shut that. And we will fold the seats down and then fold them up real quick. Cargo mat is in good shape. And carpet underneath is in great shape. The back of our second row seats are in fantastic condition, and look, we actually don't have a lot of indenting going on the back of our panels here. Do have one little spot up here and maybe one right here and here on this driver's side. Other than that, everything looks really good there. The bottom of our left side third row seat looks awesome. Same thing with the passenger side. All of our cargo back here, the plastic look back here looks fantastic. AC plug looks great. Middle row seatbelt is intact. Seatbelts are nice and clean. So looking good. We're gonna fold these back down real quick. Actually, I'm a dummy. Let me fold them back up. Get this mat back in here. Okay. Now we fold. Let me show the jack off here real quick. First aid kit, and there's your jack, so you don't have any issues there. And as you know, it's never been used. Power upper gate. Works as it should. Passenger side of this car is equally like the other side. It looks to be in great shape. This front wheel, so again, this wheel has been painted, just the front wheels have been done. No curbing, no damage, no nothing going on here. Everything looks really nice. And again, the latitude's up front with tons of tread left. On this driver's or passenger fender, excuse me, you have one spot right here. Other than that, everything looks fantastic. Step bar looks great. Our rocker down low looks nice. Passenger mirror does have a few spots that have been touched up. Here, 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 2 down here, and 2 up here. But not anything crazy. Right side camera intact, not broken. Always a plus. Right rear wheel. Again, this is original. Nothing's been done here to this wheel. No curbing, no damage, no nothing going on with this wheel. It looks nice. And same thing with our tire back here. Good shot of the frame and inner side. Look how nice all that looks. All right, do have one spot right here on this edge of the gas door itself. On this dog leg over here, do have a couple spots here. On the rear door, moving on to the rear door, I should say. Right here on this front door, do have a spot here. Do have a spot here. You got 2 spots right here in the middle of the door. Very kind of hard to see where my fingers are. Yeah, and other than that, that's all I'm seeing. Everything looks great over here. Let's check our pillar and our rails. Pillar's in great shape. I'm sure that's kind of hard to see, but all our roof rack caps look really nice. There's a great shot of the rail itself. Front of the roof is great. No fading, no clear peeling, none of that. Roof crossbars intact. We don't have any damage or anything going on there. Everything looks fantastic. All right, so moving on to the interior. You know, I always hit this first, guys. There's a couple repairs that were done here at some point. Got one here, a couple right here, and one right here. If I stand back, that's what it looks like. Not anything major, but that's why I always point those out. Those are super susceptible areas to damage and from seat belts. So I always like to show that off. The rest of the panel looks great. All of our wood right here is fantastic. No cracking, no lifting, no peeling like they like to do. This panel right here is more of a rubbery finish. Everything looks really nice here. Speaker cover, lower part of the door panel, everything looks good. Does have, I'd say, some 25, maybe 20-25% window tint on the front windows to match the rear. Sill plate light right here looks awesome. You do see right here in the corner of this carpet, you do see some wear right there. That's typical and what you're gonna see on these dot ones. Pull this back, but the rest of the carpet, you're not seeing any of that wear or anything like that. So the seat does slide forward and it does slide back. It does recline, does come forward. But the seat is in fantastic shape. Very little wear here. All of this is original leather. None of this has been replaced. Side of our console, all that looks great. Where the seat belt sits. Same thing with all our leather trim here and the glove box door. Everything looks really nice. Our wood up here is not peeling and lifting, which is very uncommon to see on these dot ones. Most of them are going to have something going on there with it. Do have a little scratch right here, and then one right here. And our vent register is not broken and works as it should. Passenger rear door panel is looking great. We don't have any damage or anything going on like we do in the front. Factory stickers all intact. Armrest looks great. Pull handle looks great. Wood up here looks great. No peeling, no lifting, none of that going on. Our panel here looks really nice. Jam looks great. A few little spots that have been touched up right here in the jam. So the power sliding seat does move forward, and it does come back. Just pull this out real quick so you can see the carpet under here. No holes or anything crazy going on. I should have thought that through differently as far as pulling that out. Back of our passenger seat looks great. No damage, nothing going on there. Rear seats are in great shape. All of this is original leather. Here's our third row, which I know I did not show off yet. And you want to know how the seats get indentions? That's a great example of how. So everything looks great back there with the third row. Carpet underneath the second row. You do have these little chalks that have been, half of that piece has been cracked. You see the other side still fully intact. Trying to hold this seat up. Bottom of the seat's in great shape. Oh Lord. Okay, there we go. Back of the console is perfect. Do have all our volume knobs intact, and our door does close as it should. Rear console climate control works as it should. And our registers do work. There's nothing to be concerned with there. Ow. Console's in good shape. Here's our TV. All right, moving along. So you do have a couple spots here on the jam, small dent here, 2 spots here that have been touched up. Seat does slide forward, does come back. You have some slight staining going on this middle row seat belt. Really just that one spot. But the rest of the seat looks great. Do have some minor staining going on under this left rear seat. Bottom of the seat looks great. Let me pull out this middle row armrest. All of our wood is perfect for the cup holder. We do have a working cup holder. And we do have the remote for the DVD. Which, if you don't know, those things are super expensive. Back of the driver's seat looks great. Hit this door panel before I forget. Everything looks really nice. If you want to complain about two things, you got some small little nicks right there, but not anything that I would do anything about. The rest of the panel looks great. We don't have a bunch of scuffing or anything going on. Our pull handle looks really nice. Wood is nice, not cracking, not peeling. Driver's door panel looks great, just like the rest. Do have some minor scuffing going on down here on the speaker cover. The rest of everything looks really nice. Do have some minor little chipping. As I said, this is a rubbery finish, and you can kind of see that going on there. You do have a minor little crack right here, which is pretty common around the memory seat switch. But other than that, the rest of the wood looks really nice. And before we hop in here, I am going to take a bathroom break. So give me 1 second. Okay, much better. Sorry for that. Thought I could hold it, and wasn't happening. So our sill plate right here looks really nice. You do see, this is a common area. I know a lot of you have seen me point out before that people just put their foot there. And you can see that there is a little bit of wear right there. But there's not any exposed holes or anything like that going on. All of our carpet under here is pretty standard. Obviously does have a new set of mats in it. Jam looks really nice. This was a certified car at some point. So our seat does slide forward, does come back, and it does recline, and it does come back up. The seat itself is in great shape. I will say that at some point these two sections were replaced, but it is leather. I can tell you that by the way it feels, and it looks fine. But it has been replaced. So let's hop in here, and we will start the interior part. Let me get out my scanner. All right, so cool box. You can see it does power on. However, it doesn't seem to be working. I did not have this diagnosed because it's only one of two things. Clearly the box has power, so I would imagine the motor itself that runs the cool box has failed. So the cool box unfortunately does not work. But for what it's worth, I think most people, including myself, would rather use this for storage, because there's not a lot of storage in these cars, and this is a great spot for that. So again, we do know it has power, so that's not an issue. I just think the motor itself, the fan, has failed. So our armrests do slide forward. This is another problematic spot, and these console covers are expensive. So make sure you, if you're looking at others, make sure you're looking at that. Our cup holder, those work as it should. Minor scratching on this silver trim. Not anything crazy or major to worry about. Same thing up here. This door, which is another common spot that will not sometimes fail, you can see it will not stay closed. Simple Velcro will take care of that, but I'm definitely not going to Velcro it myself and show you that. I'd rather just sell it the way it is and let the client do what they want to do with it. So you do have a little spot right here on this park reverse neutral drive indicator. It's kind of a gouge, I guess, if you want to call it. But other than that, all of our silver trim, much like the cup holder, all looks really nice. Shifter's in great shape. The wood's not lifting or peeling here. The cup holder, well, not cup holder, the ashtray, this surround is a very common area you're going to see on these dot ones where the wood starts to lift and peel. That was going on here. I went ahead and took the laminate off because it looks better off than it does on. So you can see the difference between the clear and kind of the matte finish. If I didn't tell you that it was gone, you might not notice it. But when the wood is cracked and lifting like they will do, that is way more obvious to me. So we don't have an ashtray insert either. I'm having a hard time finding one, and that's something that the vehicle will not have. If any of you know where one is, let me know and I'll be glad to get it. Our trim around our radio, everything looks really nice up here, and as it should. Registers both work over here. There is our nav. So everything works as it should there. Backup camera. Looking good. And let's show off the front-facing camera. Looking good, not cloudy, no cracks. You got your passenger side mirror camera, you can see looks fantastic. So there we go there. Nothing to write home about. Climate. It's ice cold in here right now. You can see we're on the low. We'll bump it up a little bit. I'm going to switch it, the 4-zone off, and then we will have matching temperatures. So now we can go back down. All works as it should. So coming to audio, you guys know my thing with audio. I'm not going to get copyrighted, but well, there you go. You can hear that. The radio does work. There's not any issues there, so I don't want anybody to worry about that. Let's switch over to AM.
They have to have a plan in place. Somebody with a strong arm, and he throws beautiful balls with the weapons at the top and side. They're gonna be good for a while. Everybody, chill for a minute, stop panicking. It's gonna be okay. Hey, we appreciate it. Thanks for the host.
Alrighty, and I do know that I think the satellite's still hooked up. It is. So satellite radio is working. We're all good there. Let's turn this back down so they don't get me. And then we can kind of scroll through our other menus. You know, if you want to hook your phone up or go to the phone, all of that works. Our setup looks all nice, general, all kinds of different settings, I'm sure, as most of you know. So you get the point. All the settings work, no issues there. We can turn our front defrost on. We can turn our rear on. So yeah, all that looks really nice. Let's show off this sunroof, or actually, let me do this. Rear DVD that is up. We're just gonna hit rear up here. And the TV is gonna fold up as it should. So the sunroof is cracked up. We are gonna move it down. Back up, back down, and then we will open it. So everything looks good there. All of our switches over here, center diff lock, rear side curtain airbags, power door off, traction off. So you have your park assist button here, front and rear, and you have your front facing and side camera. You can see that the park assist is on, and we do have our tire pressure light on, as I mentioned earlier. So steering wheel does come up, does come back down, does come out to me, and does go back in. Horn works, as you can see. Volume does come up on the steering wheel control. You can see I'm not touching the radio. And then we'll go back down. We can change our displays. Right here, you can see I'm toggling through the different displays. Blinkers. And hazards. Mirrors are out, as you see. We're going to fold them in. And we'll come back out. We will move the right mirror down, out, up, and back in. Same thing with the left side, out, down, in, and up. So everything works as it should there. Our heated steering wheel does work as it should there. Looking at the windshield, everything looks great. If you want to nitpick one thing, there's one tiny, tiny little spot right there. And I'm probably gonna have to get out to show that. So I will do that in just a second. I apologize. So we are in drive. We're going to go ahead, as you see, we are not in 4 low. We're going to go ahead and bump into 4 low. So we're going to hit neutral, and we are going to press our button there, and we are going to pop into 4 low. So as you see right here, we are in 4 low. Now we will turn on our crawl control, as you can see there. So it is working. You do not get multi-terrain select on the .1s, but you do get crawl control. So we're going to go back into high. And there we are, back into 4 high. So let's put our seatbelts on and take it for a spin. All right. And here we go. Kind of a nice overcast day here. It's great for the video. Sometimes it can be difficult when it's sunny to get a good video going on, but we don't have to worry about that today, thankfully. And as always, we're going to be listening for drivetrain noise, wheel bearing noise, anything odd, anything out of the ordinary, which I will be familiar with and point out. But obviously I've already been in this car. I know that everything is good to go there as far as that goes. It's hard to believe that you can get these cars in the mid to low 20s now. I remember when we were selling these years and years ago for $50,000 still, which is nuts. go. Steering wheel is nice and straight, not shaking. Zero noise as far as, you know, drivetrain, wheel bearing, anything like that. We're going to come on the brakes here and watch the steering wheel. Straight as an arrow. Doesn't move an inch other than me just moving it, so we don't have any rotor shake or thinness on the brake pad level or rotor wear itself. Warning lights. This car drives great. Coming on the brakes. Again, steering wheel nice and straight, no rotor shake. Brakes feel nice and firm. Sorry for the holding pattern here. Bronco that doesn't know how to yield. Right. All right, so let's do two last things. So one, I want to show that tiny spot off on the windshield. You can see it's very small. It's not cracked either, so that's not something I would necessarily worry about. We're going to check for factory remote start. We're going to push the lock button 3 times and hold it on the 3rd time. So this LX does not have factory remote start. Also, I can't check the door lock actuators like I normally do as far as walking around, because every door can be unlocked with the key fob on you. But what we can do is lock it and make sure we get a beep feedback, which we do get. If we did not get a beep feedback, that would let us know that there's an actuator out somewhere around the car, but we don't have any of that to worry about here. So that concludes this video on this 2011.1 200 series LX570, guys. Really nice overall clean car, a lot of value here. This car is going to be priced at $25,990, just over 162,000 miles. As always, you can reach me at chris@hilsonluxury.com or anytime 678-454-6060. Look forward to talking to one of you soon.